Today is still July 11th, 2026. I told you today we went down to Mrs. Yoder's in Millersburg. When we first went in, there was guys talking. We seen where she offered the FBI to write up a statement she was willing to stay, willing to go through all that, risking her life so they could get surveillance on these people. And to get, so that they could stop him. Knowing my rights of the First Amendment, that agent doesn't have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. He was only bullying me, and knowing the agency would pay me and then compensate me for any injuries. And he's like, they should take her offer. And he said, I talked to him. He said he didn't have to pay her. Yes, he does. And then I found out he's buying prostitutes with the case's money. Then arrest him. You know, that's where, if, you know, this whole thing, where they said the whole thing is a scam to extort money from the government. Even last Sunday, July 5th, 26, outside my apartment, there was a guy. And now my car is bugged. Investigators have admitted they listen through the car speakers even when people are around me. FBI informant. Okay, so they got the guy. Said the drug lord found out the one they call Henry Moffey, his kid was laughing in a restaurant. They stole all her money for her. She was never to get a dime. It was for her to, she was given by the drug lord to that agent to date. So convince him to throw out the case as fraud. So the drug dealers that got arrested, they could be released under fraud. They could sue for tens of millions of dollars, not for a person like that to get a dime. She was never to steal her money. See, that's where earlier that day I was at a church. And I don't think people realize how retarded you sound for a fucking prostitute. And how bad she scammed you. And I'm in there. I had to take someone to church. And these idiot girls, they said, the mind reader said she's weird inside. I'm not weird inside. And you sound insane. Okay? And I go over and I sit down. This guy comes out of nowhere and said they won't say a word to her while she's in here. She had enough courage to come in and she's working. And then a few minutes later, some girls walked by. Some guy said not to say a word to her. That some prostitute was laughing in a restaurant. That they fooled everybody. And she stole all the money. And they've made everything up on her. They walked by saying that. Okay. Later on, Stark County sheriffs were talking. Okay. They said that girl that was laughing in the restaurant said agent's girlfriend that he has to pay today. What they say, she is a prostitute. Okay. And we thought he was just acting that way to get the drug dealers. Till he showed up at that courthouse with them trying to get the case thrown out. September 10th, 25, Tuscarawas County Courthouse. A short white guy with black hair doing the mean stompy dance they call drama in 18. Walking by, now that him and his drama's gone, we can get these people they hired to hurt her, tell everybody to follow him. We don't feed into religious heresy. What is his problem? The guy they call drama. Took me a long time to remember where I seen him because I only seen him that time. Okay. And then they said, well, we all know Melissa's kids were taped. Melissa and her kids were taped saying they were lying, and they made everything up for that girl that was laughing in the restaurant. She stole everything. Okay. And now they said the investigators were dying laughing when I said it in the car today. And it's the truth. Don't bring me ridiculous scenarios unless you arrested them. Because if I can put what is the jail sentence for it, and I can get the codes, I can get the laws, and they go to jail for it, don't bring me ridiculous scenarios. Don't bring me ridiculous scenarios. It said some psychiatrist is having people stalk her, have them call in and write up she's insane. You arrested the psychiatrist. I don't have one. Okay? It is illegal for them to hire people to stalk me and to write up fraud. And I don't have a psychiatrist. So not only is it health fraud, it's wire fraud because there's electronic communication. It's extortion. It's HIPAA violations. And then it's not even my doctor. It's just a big fraud scheme. You arrested them, right? And then they said, we found out Dave was letting his girlfriend use her insurance. Well, yeah, you already knew that. And that half my medical records are hers. Okay? And if you actually have the case, like the Louisville Altman-Stat Care doctor, he walked into a room after he checked out Carl. And he was talking to someone. He said, I didn't notice before her legs are crooked. He said, I looked it up. She does have degenerative joint disease. He said, and I looked her up, that all the doctors from before are wrote up as fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. I seen what happened. No wonder the other doctors thought she was dying, with her whole body swelling up, seizures, heart attacks, thyroid, adrenal gland shutting down. Those doctors almost killed her. No wonder they thought she was dying, and no wonder it's all wrote up as fraud. There's no excuse they didn't pull her off those medicines. All those medicines. They were killing her. Okay. So if you go to July 8th, 26, the attorney's office that's behind this, okay, the guy where I did a video trying to explain how, when I was born, what happened to me and my mom. And then if you look at what that doctor did, it caused my legs to be crooked. It caused my spine to be misaligned. He may have even damaged my heart where I have PAVR. And see, that's where trying to explain stuff to people. And it, growing up as a child, when your mother doesn't want you, it is a source of pain. But being raised by my father mostly and my grandmother, I embraced it as I grew. And there's a lot of good, strong women that are raised by fathers only, and they're not coddled. And because they're not coddled, they grow up to be strong, independent women that are law enforcement. They're some kind of military. And see, that's where, or they become something wonderful because they give them the inner strength to survive. They teach them, like my dad, he taught me sympathy and empathy. He taught me respect for other people's lives. He also taught me you can't fix stupid people, people that are willingly ignorant, and to stand up for myself. And, he taught me responsibility. My mother, I don't think she actually hurt herself, but when I was born, she almost died. So did I. And that she'd say, I already have my 3 daughters. I had my son. I didn't want another baby. And then when you were born, I almost died. You're your father's daughter. Well, some idiot tried to say something stupid to me when I was a little girl. She was one of those Southern girls with hot tempers. She slapped his face. You don't talk to Karen like that. That's my baby. I thought, my baby? I thought it was my father's daughter. And then she turned around and say that stupid thing. But you know what? I embraced it. And I'm glad I am my father's daughter. He taught me to be a good person. And, July 8th, 26th, out in Walmart and Alliance, that idiot thought he would show up and make fun of me. And they said it was him yelling at in Walmart. Heard that kind of person, or how do they say? Now, he said, I made her live through complete horror. A person like her, I taught her a lesson. This whole thing is a scam to extort money out of the government. I'm just your victim. And you're trying to act all big and bad, trying to pull your scam off. But he admitted it was him that made me live through complete horror. He's a terrorist. He confessed. And then he said a person like her mother didn't even want her. My mom at 91 would take her walker over to you and bitch slap you. She would. She may say stupid stuff, but she wouldn't let you say it to me. And see, that's where that prostitute on June 26 in Dutch Valley Restaurant, she comes in. This is my family doing this, and they're stealing everything from me. We're making fun of her because she's a fake, or we're stealing everything from her because she's a faker, and we're teaching her a lesson. Ha 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 ha. I'm not a faker, I almost died. Like people said today, when they found out you almost died, nobody thought this was funny. Them calling you a faker and saying they're stealing from you. Well, they said that in 18, honey. My community health told the FBI employees. 18. Everything that Altman Staff Care Emergency Room doctor said. They already told them in 18. That's how stupid this is. Stupid. Okay? And she's like, that's the one the guys picked out to make fun of so they could steal all the money for me. I was handpicked. The prostitute even admitted they picked me out to run the scam on. I was picked. She said that's the one the guys picked out to run so that they could do all this, so they could steal from me. They picked her out so they could make fun of her. They consider harming people making fun of them. That they could make fun of her so they could steal everything from me. The drug dealers we hired to do this to her taped her in the bathroom, washing herself, photoshopped in the other room to make her look weird with herself, making fun of her. Ha 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 ha. And you have to pay to date that loud, obnoxious prostitute, Agent John? What's wrong with you? I don't care how pretty she is, that's obnoxious. But she admitted they picked me out to do this to. But see, they said that in 18. They said, we picked her out because we didn't think anyone would care if she died. We could isolate her and alone, and nobody would know if she was gone. And they would say that in front of the cops and feds, that they picked me out because they thought they could isolate me alone, that no one cared about me, and they could kill me if they had to. And nobody would even know I was gone. They picked me out because they didn't think anybody and to do this to me. They picked me out. See, that's where November 23rd, 25, the cartels and Macy's downstairs in Summit Mall. This whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was already connected to us. We asked him if we could run a scam on her to extort money from the government. He said we could if we made sure he got everything during the divorce. See, they needed someone to run a scam on. They picked me out personally. They was already connected. They thought they could isolate me alone and nobody would know I was gone. They handpicked me where that prostitute said, that's the one the guys picked out to make fun of so they could steal everything for me. I was picked. Not that I did anything wrong. They picked me out because they thought they could get away with it, that no one would care. They said it several times, especially in 18 and 19. I was handpicked. So where that little bitch was in Walmart saying he was teaching a person like me a lesson, his victim, trying to act like, now I'm going to make sure she can never have a secure job. You know what, jerkface? I can have any secure job I want, and you can't interfere. I have one traffic ticket from 1989, 36 years ago. I am squeaky clean. And like the Portage County Sheriff said, when I told them that they were saying they set up button cameras in my home, that's illegal. They're supposed to Photoshop washing in the shower in the other room. That's illegal. Had bruises throwing up and infected and died. I thought it was a well water. They're trying to say they have sodium pentothal reports. They were drugging me for confessions and telling me to say horrible stuff. That's illegal. Everything these people did is illegal. So where they make up the scenario, we entered all our tapes in court without her. You can't enter tapes in courts without me. See, that's where these people are Twilight Zone crazy. They just lie. Just like March 27th, 25, there's another Michelle. She's real pretty. She was dating another agent on a Rouge. And she told him that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. They were one of my doctors. And she doesn't know who he is. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent at work. And he broke up with her. Carl had seen her have a meltdown yelling that in Sheetz parking lot, April 17th, 25. Okay? And how that guy broke up with her and how she really liked him after she told him that. Okay? And then April 24th, 25, the Texas group is in Summit Mall. The Muslims. And then some guy yells out, you tell that guy Will that was to pull a scam off here to join us. That's all ruined because other Michelle told on us that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. And the whole scam's ruined. You tell them we said take care of her, and then they threatened to kill that girl. Well, May 25th, 25, in Hollister's, teenage boys were laughing. Boy, did Bill from the Freemasons run the biggest scam here. He had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine that? And had some other guy videotape her washing in the shower and put that in the other room. And then ran the scam off of it. Who could steal her money? Scammed everybody into helping out. Okay. May 26, 25, the cartel walks into Walmart 62. We heard they're making fun of Bill from the Freemasons of the dirty scam of the dirty doctor not being one of hers, works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. And the whole thing's a scam. May 30th, 25, the Louisville police are outside with a lady, and they found the Walmart 62 tape of May 26, 25 of the whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. Okay? And they found the original case. It said her ex-husband hired two men on his own. One was saying is an attorney, so it was legal. No, it isn't. It's worse than legal. What is a jail sentence for an attorney hired by a husband to set up button cameras in a private home, stalking his wife without her knowledge or consent? Not only is it immediate disbarment, it's 5 to 20 years. It's illegal monitoring, felony invasion of privacy, voyeurism, go into wiretapping. I mean, it can go into sextortion, cyber stalking. I mean, there is so many, that they can slam it with. And then if you add the drug confessions, photoshopping and washing, being raped under drugs, it's life imprisonment. And see, that's where August 4th, 25, they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on me when they drugged me and told me to say it before. August 5th, 25, as if Agent John didn't know they were using hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. He was telling people he knew she was being drugged, beaten right before the case started. And he even let him torture her. Is he some kind of coward? August 7th, 25, investigators show up at Walmart 62. Got them taped admitting again they drugged her and told her to say it before. And calling Agent John a coward now. August 30th or 31st or 25, Summit Mall upstairs at Macy's of it is documented and verified they used hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. She has no memory of these people. And that's why she had a metal taste in her mouth. And nobody's allowed to say a word. Some lady was downstairs. Do you realize what we look like to her when she has no memory of these people and we yell stuff at her? You look like Satan-possessed demons. How would you like drug dealers to break in your home and you already have trouble with bees getting in the house and it's nothing to swat them because there's nests out in the backwoods? And these people admitted they hid behind doors and reach out and jab me with an injection. You look for a bee, you don't think to look for a person. And they duck back in. Goes, sit down, take a drink, the room goes dizzy and black. Then you come out, you got bruises on you, throwing up, infected. And you haven't let anybody in your house. You haven't seen anyone. You haven't talked to anybody. And the well water's orange and chunky. And here it only has iron and rust in it. And you think it's toxic. And you're going to the doctor. What on earth is wrong with me? Is it the well water? It's orange. Is it toxic? And they're treating you for all the signs of being drug beaten, raped, and nobody thinks of a rapist. To set up a con, to take it to the FBI, so I'd scare me into calling them, so that they can buy off an agent with a prostitute to throw out a case. Someone needs to arrest him. And you want to think about this, where that girl on September 30th, 25, I guess she was some of the drug dealers had showed up. She was sitting around laughing how they got away with this. Well, it pissed some people off. Some biker brought her down, said the guys running it, said no one's allowed to say a word to her again in her life. They found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? She's like, yes. Does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know. She doesn't even know who you are. You had her raped and tortured or skull bashed in because you were in debt to drug dealers. Yes, I'm sorry. Listen to her friend Matt and her talk September 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life for all those people being human trafficked. And it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. And your family even human trafficked people to pay off that debt to those drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. She sold children and she's sorry. So, Agent John, did you help out with that for your prostitute girlfriend? I mean, we're hitting serious crimes here. And he said, I found out it was your family that was inciting her new husband's family to threaten his life to steal his farm. Well, yeah, but I really wanted it. I like it. She wanted it for herself, so they had him terrorize an 80-year-old man. So you're into terrorizing 80-year-olds to steal from them? You and your prostitute girlfriend? I mean, you guys got to think about how sick of crimes this idiot is doing. I listened to August of 23. The original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yeah, I know that. Did you know they already confronted her ex-husband if he knew it was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors that made her sick before? They encouraged them to sue those doctors for years? Yeah, I know that. I gotta upload this. But when you realize I was picked out because they thought I was isolated alone and nobody cared about me to run the scam on me. I was picked out, even the prostitute. They picked me out to run a scam. And so this psycho stuff of people acting like they're going to destroy me, it's really got old over 7.5 years, almost 8, for you to get a case thrown out from the government. If they don't fix it, it will get thrown out for that agent defrauding me. And like that guy said, they need to take her off of signing a paper. She was willing to stay, willing to work, willing to risk her life to help them get surveillance on those people to stop them. Knowing the First Amendment, that agent doesn't have the authority to ask her to stay quiet, and he was only bullying her, knowing the agency alone would pay her and compensate her for injuries. And that would take it out of him defrauding her to a legal case. If those drug dealers get out, what would they get? Anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500. We're talking 10 billion to $25 billion that's going to cost the government, that the cartel is going to get. You know who's going to pay for it? Everyone. Gas prices will be what, $5, $10? Sales taxes will be over 10%. They'll get it out of everyone.